welcome back. No one has had a harder 2 years in this country than our kids, forced to stay away from their friends and schoolmates at the most formative time in their lives and cover their faces to please busybody adults. And now, an elementary school in Seattle wants to take away their Halloween. What a bunch of dingbats. Administrators at one school say their annual Halloween parade marginalizes students of color. No, it doesn't. Who don't celebrate the holiday, so now it's canceled for everybody. The one thing kids look forward to, the one day they can dress up and screw around. Is Halloween really so racially divisive? Is there no limit to the amount of liberal adults who will punish children for their politics to seem like they're doing the right thing? Let's meet tonight's party panel. We've got the host of KFI AM 640 Los Angeles, the Gary and Shannon Show. It's Gary Hoffman. There he is. And Democrat strategist, radio host, and Fox News contributor, also an Angelino, Leslie Marshall. And for the first time in the Canadalia Octagon, liberty activist and Foundation for Economic Education writer, Olivia Rondeau. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Olivia.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Okay, Gary, I will start with you because this is really stupid. There are all sorts of people who could miss things for all sorts of reasons. That doesn't mean that we should cancel everything because a couple people can't participate. What is that called?
I don't. That's a good question. What is there a name for that? I don't know what it's called.
Divisiveness.
This is one of those situations. Oh, divisiveness. Yes, not inclusiveness is what you're getting at.
Exactly.
This is one of those weird situations where if a kid has hurt feelings, rather than sit the kid down, explain to them how to express their feelings, or give them some tools mentally, physically to help deal with their feelings, we just take away the roadblock out of their way. We just take away a roadblock that we think they might see. The kids are not the ones complaining here, and we don't even know if any parents have complained about this pumpkin parade at this school because the administrators did this by themselves without input from their community. And for some reason, they've been talking about this subject in this school for 5 years. And finally, they decided to pull the plug on the pumpkin parade.
God. Yeah, they tried the same thing in Burlington, Vermont. You know what they're doing? They're having the parade back because they tried taking the parade away. You know what kids like? Leslie, they like parades, they like candy, they like Halloween, they like dressing up, they look forward to it all year. There's nothing they like more. Sure, there may be a few people who can't or won't participate, but really, cancel the one thing that you've taken away from them already last year?
Well, at first I thought like you did until we called the school board to get him on our radio show. And actually they said Gary is right that they have talked about this for years, but he's not right about parent input. And that's where the problem comes from. There are parents from 3 categories. Parents that say, hey, look, we can't afford these kind of costumes that the other middle class, upper middle class, and rich kids have for their kids. 2, kids with autism, ADHD, and other types of disabilities have an issue with the sound from the party. So there are physical, mental, and emotional issues for those children, and then 3, I can't even remember number 3, but oh yeah, 3 is religion. Some people, and this it can be different religions, Christians do not celebrate Halloween.
That's not true.
And
I'm a Christian. I celebrate Halloween.
Evil.
I'm a Christian. I celebrate Halloween.
No, I didn't say.
Yeah,
Kennedy, I never said all Christians.
Yeah,
I never said all Christians. I have plenty of Christians in my family. When I was a Christian, I celebrated Halloween, but there are Christians and other religions who do not consider it a holiday.
There are kids who have nut allergies. You know what? They're not going to cancel lunch because someone might have a nut in their lunchbox. Olivia, please bring some sense to Leslie and her sagging side of this conversation, which is so irrational. Like, you could think of a reason to cancel everything. Like, oh, some people, it's like the noise. It's like the world is noisy. You're not going to take those kids out of society. Go ahead, Olivia.
You know, as the resident token person of color, I am just sitting here in disbelief. I'm shocked. I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, honestly. I mean, when I was in elementary school, the kids that I remember that weren't allowed to participate in Halloween were like the white Jehovah's Witness kids. So I'm really confused why it's like it's a person of color thing, or it's a minority thing, or it's an African American thing to not celebrate Halloween. To me, this seems like one of those things where white liberals make up an issue so they can stomp on that issue and say, "Yay, diversity! We saved the black people. We did it."
It's so true. It's like, well, Michael Jackson was a Jehovah's Witness, so I think all black people are. So in order to not marginalize people, we should probably just not have Halloween or Thanksgiving or anything ever. It's so ridiculous. Give the kids what they want. You know what they want? They want Halloween. They want candy, they want a parade, they want their costumes in the middle of the day at school because they can never have any fun because no one can run and no one can have a stick. And if you carve a gun out of a piece of Wonder Bread, they're going to call the FBI. It's true. Speaking of Jeepers Creepers, Virginia Democrat gubernatorial candidate, once and maybe future governor Terry McAuliffe, now on cleanup duty after saying parents shouldn't be involved in schools. It all started 2 weeks ago when this genius had this to say. I bet he told his school what to teach when his kids were $50,000 a year private school rather. When confronted about it this week, he tiptoed around the issue and said, "Really? I'm obsessed with this." Blah. So it's the reporter's fault for asking questions. Got it. The election is less than 3 weeks away. Will angry parents have the last word here in Virginia, Gary?
Listen, I'm vaccinated, so I guess I can speak on the issue. It feels like Terry McAuliffe is trying to drive a wedge between parents and the school kids. And that is the weirdest plot line to a bad dystopian movie where the government comes in and says, hey, kids, your parents don't know what they're talking about. Listen to us. And listen, I come from a family of teachers. My mother was a teacher for decades. My sister, my brother-in-law, they're teachers. They will tell you that the #1 indicator of whether or not a student succeeds is whether or not their parents are involved in their education. It's a horrible mistake to hand it over to the government and allow them, whoever it may be, the local county school board, the governor of the state, whatever it is, to have them come up with the plans for building education in their state.
Yeah, they don't even let the kids have a say. Because I sit my girls down all the time and ask them about stuff like this. And I say, you know, you're good teachers. Should your good teachers make more money than your bad teachers? And overwhelmingly, they say yes. And then I ask them, should your bad teachers still be teaching? And of course, they say no. And they're right. Leslie?
I'll tell you, my kids, any teacher is a bad teacher that gives them a homework on a Friday night over a break. So I don't know that I can use that with my 13 and 14-year-old right now. Look, you know, in Virginia, what is going on there? It's a gubernatorial election. And so one side says, my side, the left, the Democrats say, we're not going to do what the guys on the right do. The guy on the right says, we're not going to do what the guy on the left does. And we know that it's a very tight race when we look at the polling. So I guess the only answer will be after the election. If Terry McAuliffe loses, then maybe the parents who don't like what he has to say about education had the last laugh and had the biggest word showing up to vote against him. But if he wins, then maybe there's some people that like what he has to say, not that parents shouldn't be involved, but what he says on his website and all the things that he wants to do and improve upon in the Virginia education system that they don't have currently.
But he doesn't know anything about it because his kids went to private school, although he's flapping his claptrap about public school and how to keep parents out of it. Olivia?
Well, I 100% agree with Gary's assessment. This is completely dystopian to try to get parents out of the education of their children. One thing that the government loves to do is act like they're trying to create an equitable education for everybody by trying to stifle parents and stifle private and charter schools, when in reality they're scared of competition. They're scared of parents the most because parents are the ones that have the ability to hold public schools accountable. They honestly, they want your child to be trapped in their zip code and be forced to go to that public school no matter how bad it is or not.
Amen. Oh, keep going. I'm sorry. I was just excited for you.
I thought I was done. No. Well, my entire point is that the government is just scared of competition, and in the most dangerous way. And the way that we can fight against it is parents really have to stand up. So I commend whoever that man was who was questioning McAuliffe about education and who got basically shut down in a very, very interesting way, to say the least.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. It was total deflection. And get him on the record. Make him answer. He cannot have it both ways. Either parents get to be an active part of the process because they have the greatest investment, or you want to keep them out of the classroom. You can't say it in two different ways and have it mean the same thing. Panel, sticking around because coming up it is game night, and we are playing Prez Your Luck. We'll test just how much this panel knows about past presidents, and you, darling, can play along too. It's next. There they are. Welcome back. It's time to play Prez Prez Your Luck, the game that tests your command of America's commanders-in-chief. Our party panel will earn points by answering presidential trivia. Each contestant will have one chance to prez their luck toward the end of the game and double their winnings on a question of their choosing. But if they get it wrong, they lose all their points. Let's get to it. Gary, Leslie, Olivia, are you ready to play? G-L-O. That
ready.
spells glow. Here we go.
I'm so ready.
Oh, yeah, you are. You might have beginner's luck, Olivia. Here we go. Question number 1 for Gary. Which of these presidents served as a high school cheerleader? George W. Bush, Donald Trump, Jim Carter, or George Washington?
The only man who is also brave enough to use his middle initial, I say George W. Bush.
That's right. Gary's on the board with... No, that's right. He said George W. Bush. He got it right. Why did you... Yeah, there we go. We have a troglodyte in there who's pushing the buttons. Back to the zoo with ye.
Big thumbs, big thumbs. That's what we call them.
Yeah. This is for you, Leslie. Which of these presidents worked as a fashion model prior to taking office? Jim Carter, Calvin Coolidge, Gerald Ford, or Joe Biden?
You gave me this question before. I knew it then. I know it now. I got it right then. I get it right now. I want Gary's question because I knew that one too. Gerald Ford.
Oh, that is correct. Didn't know that we had recycled a question unless you've been looking in our database, which is very possible. It was Gerald Ford, featured on the cover of Cosmo in April 1942 in his Navy uniform. I love a man in uniform. All right, Gerald. Okay, here we go, Olivia. Which of these wild animals was once kept in the White House as a presidential pet? An alligator, a giraffe, a baboon, or a koala bear?
Honestly, I have no idea, but because I love koalas, I'm going to have to guess a koala bear.
And maybe that happened in Australia, but in these United States, it was an alligator kept by John Quincy Adams. It was gifted to him by the Marquis de Lafayette. Good job, Marquis. And he's dead now. Gary, this is for you. Question number 2. Which of these presidents once fought for the British Army? Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, or Mary Poppins?
I don't even know where to go with this. How about Thomas Jefferson?
No. It was George Washington. He played a key role in the French and Indian War from 1755 to 58. And then he thought the Whigs were confining, so he switched to the revolutionaries. All right, here we go, Leslie. This one's for you. Which of these presidents banned alcohol, card playing, and dancing in the White House during his boring, dumb presidency? Was it James K. Polk, Ronald Reagan, William Henry Harrison, or Mahatma Gandhi?
Gary, I would have liked you better if you said Mary Poppins, but let me see. I'm going to go with Polk.
And you'd be right. His wife, Sarah, a devout Presbyterian, banned all these things. And by the way, my dad is a Presbyterian, and he played a lot of cards. He danced a lot and drank a lot. So, yeah, I call him murder. All right, Olivia, this is for you. Which of these presidents famously could write in Greek with one hand and Latin in the other at the same time? Chester Arthur, James Garfield, Benjamin Harrison, or Spider-Man?
Let me go with Garfield. And again, I have no idea. I'm just guessing.
You're on the board. You're tied with Gary. Well done. Now, at any point, party people, at any point, if you feel comfortable with this question, I can give you the question first. You can decide to prez your luck. You'll double the points. If you get it right, you will lose all of them. If you get it wrong, Gary, here, this is for you. Which of these presidents had a morning ritual of having somebody rub Vaseline on his head while he ate breakfast? Was it Calvin Coolidge, Joe Biden, Rutherford B. Hayes, or Barack Obama?
Wow. I would have to go with Rutherford B. Hayes.
No, unfortunately, that is incorrect. You should have known this one, Gary, for it was Calvin Coolidge.
What?
Yeah, Calvin.
I named my son after the rapper, not the president.
I don't believe you, not for a second. You loved Silent Cal. So does your son. Leslie, here we go. You might want to prez your luck on this. Which of these presidents has 2 Grammys? Bill Clinton, Jim Carter, Barack Obama, or Mariah Carey? you want to prez your luck, Leslie?
I know Mariah has more than 2. No. Who has 2 Grammys?
You want to prez your luck or not?
Grammys.
You want to prez your luck? Do you want to prez your luck?
You know what? What the heck? I'll give up the car, Kennedy. I'll prez my luck.
Okay.
What the heck? I'll prez my luck, and I'm going to say, I'll say Bill Clinton, even though I may be wrong.
Yes! Leslie Marshall now leaps into the lead. She's got 4. Gary, you and Olivia each have 1. Olivia, even if you get this right, you're still only halfway home. Olivia, here you go. Which of these presidents regularly consulted with an astrologer before making big decisions? Harry S. Truman, John Quincy Adams, Ronald Reagan, or Miss Cleo?
I'm going to have to go with John Quincy Adams.
You'd be wrong. Ronald Reagan. He claimed, his astronomer claimed in her book, I was responsible for timing all press conferences, most speeches, the State of the Union addresses, the takeoffs and landings of Air Force One. Good job, everyone. Congratulations to you, Leslie Marshall, for looking up all the questions in the rundown and getting them right in advance. Gary and Olivia, great sports. Olivia, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.